William J. Coughlin never imagined that what started as a thrilling adventure with friends would turn into a terrifying ordeal. It was supposed to be just another daring cave exploration, but on May 30th, 1993, things took a terrifying turn. Trapped and injured deep within the cave, William faced every caver's worst nightmare, a situation from which there was no easy escape. William J. Coughlin loved adventure. He was tall, strong, and always ready for a challenge. Standing over 6 feet tall and weighing nearly 230 pounds, he was no stranger to physical challenges. His deep love for nature led him to work at the Federal Environmental Protection Agency, spending his days in the great outdoors. But his passion didn't stop there. It drove him to explore caves with his close friend, James Jalala. What started as a simple hobby turned into a deadly journey deep into the dark and dangerous Buzzard Roost Cave in Cave City, Kentucky. The excitement begins. It was Memorial Day weekend in 1993 when William, James, and another friend, Kevin Feely, set off from Oak Forest, Illinois on an 8-hour drive to Cave City, Kentucky. The weekend was filled with excitement as the group looked forward to the thrill of exploring the cave systems they had read about. Their destination, Buzzard Roost Cave, a place known for its tight passages, sharp stalagmites, and slick floors, a cave tour meant only for the most daring visitors. Despite being beginners, William and James were eager to tackle the challenge. They arrived in Cave City on Sunday, May 30th, with high spirits and little more than simple clothes and a handheld flashlight for equipment. They ignored the local attractions, heading straight for the cave, ready to prove their bravery. The first red flags. Before starting the Wild Cave Tour, William and his friends had to sign a release form and pay an additional fee. This form stated that the cave operators wouldn't be held responsible if anything went wrong. Unfortunately, they didn't receive proper gear or equipment for the more difficult parts of the cave. They were only given basic flashlights. The lack of adequate preparation made their adventure much riskier than they had anticipated. Because when they arrived at the cave, a guide named David Hardin met them along with 4 other tourists. Before they could enter, they were handed a release form. They didn't think much of it and quickly signed, but something seemed off. Only one form was given for all of them to sign. It was a warning that maybe this adventure wasn't as safe as they thought. Kevin felt uneasy and decided to back out, but William and James were determined. They signed the form and joined the simple, easy tour of the historic cave. After it ended, Hardin surprised them with another form and asked for more money to join the Wild Cave Tour. This part of the tour was different. It involved crawling through tight spaces and climbing down steep ladders, all without the right gear or preparation. William and his friends were excited to explore Buzzard Roost Cave, which offered 2 types of tours. The historic tour was simple and easy, designed for beginners. It allowed visitors to see the cave's main features without much effort. The Wild Cave Tour, however, was much more challenging. It involved tight squeezes, crawling, and climbing, making it suitable only for experienced cavers. The descent into disaster. With nothing but their handheld flashlights, the group entered the Wild Cave. William, being larger than the rest, struggled from the start. Moving through the restricted pathways was difficult, and each sharp edge and squeeze left him injured and drained. But he remained motivated by the excitement of the challenge and the desire to demonstrate his stamina. The tour took them deeper into the cave, where they encountered 2 ladders. The first, 30 feet high, was manageable, but the second, a 20-foot ladder leading down into a narrow V-shaped passage, proved much more difficult. William, exhausted and damaged, barely made it through the tight squeeze to the big room, where the trip was finalized. Relieved but tired, William and the others rested, exploring the surrounding passages while Hardin, their guide, informed them that they were behind schedule and needed to begin the climb back up. William, now thoroughly exhausted, struggled to ascend the ladder. He tried several times but couldn't muster the strength. His friends urged him on, but he could only manage a few steps before slipping back down, hitting his head on the rocks as he fell. A desperate struggle. William's fall was terrible. He hit his head hard and blood poured from the wound. The pain was intense. James, scared but determined, told the others to find Hardin and get help. When Hardin finally came back, he had no medical supplies, just empty promises. Despite how bad William's injury was, Hardin insisted they try to pull him up the ladder, but James knew that was impossible. William was trapped, bleeding, and getting worse. He started slipping in and out of consciousness, barely able to speak. In a desperate move, Hardin and James tried to pull him through the narrow passage, but William got stuck. He was upside down, barely able to breathe, and his pain grew worse as the cold, hard cave walls pressed against him. Hours passed before the rescue team arrived, but by then, things were critical. William was freezing, and the rescue was made even harder by the tight space he was trapped in. Despite their best efforts, the rescuers couldn't free him. William's body gave out, and at 5 a.m. on Monday, May 31st, he was pronounced dead. The aftermath. It took several more hours before William's body was finally extracted from the cave. The Kentucky medical examiner determined that the cause of death was suffocation aggravated by his head injury and the extreme conditions he had endured. The tragedy didn't end there. Despite the release form signed by William and the others, TMH International Attractions, the company responsible for the cave tour, was sued for their negligence. The court found that by accepting payment for the tour, the company was responsible for the safety and well-being of the participants, a responsibility they had clearly failed to uphold. Cave exploration, while thrilling, carries significant risks. Each year, a number of caving accidents occur due to inadequate preparation and safety measures. The mortality rate for cave explorers is relatively high compared to other adventure activities, primarily because of factors like tight spaces, sudden falls, and lack of proper equipment. To reduce these dangers, adventurers should always ensure they have the right gear, including helmets, lights, and climbing tools, and receive proper training. Always sign up with experienced guides and heed safety warnings. Awareness and preparation are key to safely enjoying the adventure of caving. William J. Coughlin's story is a stark reminder of how adventure can turn deadly. Do you think this tragedy could have been avoided? What would you have done differently? If you found this story powerful, make sure to like, share, and comment with your thoughts.